Rock on. Hey, everybody. It's Latonia here. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me here for Tip Tuesday live broadcast. Guess what? It is not raining. It is nice outside in Brockton, Massachusetts. So I am up and I am here and I'm excited to be joining you this afternoon. It is 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are watching outside of that time, you are watching the replay. So if you are here and you are joining me, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, let me know you're here. Even if you're watching the replay, leave a comment to let me know that you stopped by. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, welcome to the Let's Write Life community. My name is Latonia Francois. I am the trailblazing owner of Let's Write Life, and I'm actually beginning to, I'm keeping my, my claim to fame name that I have given to myself. When I left the corporate world, I was like, you know what, I am not who I used to be, and this is who I want to be. This is who I want to live up to. So I gave myself this title, trailblazing owner of Let's Write Life, to, initiate the journey that I was beginning with Let's Write Life. But a lot of people have been asking me for my bios lately, and I say trailblazing owner, and people are like, oh, okay, what's that? And so I'm actually thinking about some secondary titles, and the one that has stuck out to me the most lately, thanks to some awesome mentors in my life, is this one, Journaling Advocate. What do you guys think of that? Latonia Francois, journaling advocate of self-love and life change. Whew, I like it. So what do you guys think? So anyway, I'm Latonia. Welcome. I am the owner of Let's Write Life, which is a company that I started to partner with self-development programs and mental health professionals who are looking to incorporate journaling into their programs as a positive form of life change and self-expression. So what I do is I get on these broadcasts each and every Tuesday, each week, to empower the program directors to stay connected with the students who come through my workshops and programs, and to meet all of you here who follow and connect with me online, who have a passion or interest for journaling. This is the place where we can write our dreams into reality. This is where you can turn to when you're looking for motivation to stay, hold yourself accountable to your life goals and whatever you're working on in your life. I'm here to encourage you and just share my life through journaling to keep you moving forward. So thank you for joining me today. I am so excited about the broadcast for today, which is all about my journal collection. So I have been saying that I am going to be doing this video for like a year now. Time flies so fast. It probably has been a year of me saying, okay, I'm going to get to this journaling video. So what I'm going to do, because it's such a short time here, let's see what we can get through in this broadcast. But the good news I wanted to share with you guys today is that I'm going to be relaunching my YouTube channel again. So I am going to do these shorter segments on Tuesdays, but ultimately my goal is to start doing the fuller videos on YouTube. But I'll let you know when that comes up, because that could take another year. But right now, that's the thought that's going on in my mind for how I can start to just dig deeper into the topics that we talk about just briefly in our short time here. So while I am chit-chatting, let me make sure that you guys are here. How are you guys doing today? Be sure to leave me comments in the box below so that I know you are here and that you are with me. I just did all of that talking. I should make sure that I'm actually live. Wouldn't that be nice, so that I'm not just talking to myself? Oh, hey, so I see Katrina's here. I see Herkins is here. Okay, thank you guys for joining me. Look at me. Let me just put my phone up here. I gotta use my phone to keep track of what's going on so I can actually see the comments. Okay, so actually, you know what? Before I begin, you guys, April 28th, save the date, mark your calendars, go to my website, letswritelife.com, and get registered for the upcoming vision board party. You need to be in the room. Why? Because all the journaling that we have been doing over the last few months, this month I have been focusing on awakening your personal growth, and I decided to go back to the basics of journaling. For those of you who are new to Let's Write Life, have begun to start your journey with journaling, I wanted to just, how do I say this? I just wanted to just step back for a little bit this month to bring everybody up to speed on just getting comfortable with journaling and understanding what journaling is. So the topics that I covered this month have been, do you know how to journal? Right? Journaling with journaling prompts. And then this week I am talking about my journal collection. And then next week I'll be talking about coping with depression through journaling. And so today I wanted to share with you my collection. But as we're going through all of these different journaling techniques and you're taking in all the different things I have to say about journaling, this vision board party is all about summing it up visually. The life change that you want to see happen in your life, those areas of personal growth that you want to make real, how are you going to keep yourself accountable to those goals? That is what this vision board party is all about. So please go check it out. If you're in the Brockton, Massachusetts area, I would love to see you in the room. Please share this broadcast. Please share the details of the event and just grab your friends and come on out and enjoy yourself, because it's really going to set the tone for how you're going to take your words that you write about into actions that begin to transform your life. And plus, it'll help you stay on track with the topics that I'm moving forward with throughout this year. People ask me, how do you journal? How do you stay motivated? How do you do the things you do, Latonia? And this is it. So if you're plugging in, you're feeling my motivation. If you're plugging in, you're feeling the change happen in your life. But if you're just watching and you're not getting involved, then your life isn't going to change for you the same way it has been. I've been able to change mine. So I just invite you to go check out the event and all the events that I do here at Let's Write Life. So let's get started with today. I wanted to actually take you guys on a journey through my journal collection. I guess based on how my journey with Let's Write Life got started. That seemed to have made the most sense to me. And so I figured I would start there. Alright, so I want to make sure that let me just go down. I wanted to make sure before I started, did I miss anything that I wanted to say? Okay, nope, I didn't. I said everything. Good. So how does that sound to you guys? Does that make sense? Hey, Anita. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. All right, so perfect timing. I'm about to get started with my journal collection. So into story time. That's how I feel like I'm starting this. Story time. All right. So in 2013, I have a whole bunch of journals, guys. I have a whole bunch of journals. So I just picked out the ones that I felt would be significant enough to help you on your journey and for you to understand my process and how I approach journaling, how I have approached journaling over the last few years of my life, where my life change began to happen. I couldn't really start sharing my collection without going back to the beginning with this one. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see it good, but this is my first journal. And I was actually introduced to journaling through my church, my youth ministry. And my youth Bible school teacher, she had an assignment for one of our Sundays for us to take, or not Sundays, I think it was more like a youth night. And what she did is she took composition notebooks, which I have completely covered inside and out. And she had us, she brought all the supplies and she had us decorate our composition notebooks into prayer diaries. And so ultimately, thanks for the hearts and the thumbs up. So ultimately, my journaling life started with a prayer. Isn't that crazy? My whole journal, the foundation for the journaling in my life started with a prayer. I thought that was significant to add, and I still have that journal. Remember when Precious Moments was like a big thing? I have figurines and everything. Now you don't really see Precious Moments anymore. And so I remember for Easter, this truck that would pick up all the kids for church came by, and for Easter what they did was they threw out all these eggs from the bus, not a truck, the bus. They threw out all these eggs with candy, and inside of all the eggs there were these little scraps of Bible verses. And so when the night came for us to work on these things, I didn't really have much, but I pulled those scraps from those eggs and I used them in the stickers that I had to just embellish my very first journal. And so this journal started in 1999, and I was 12 years old. I probably had journals before this, but this was the first one that I can remember actually being intentional about writing. And so I wanted to share that and just how my journey really began. And when I look back at this journal, it's kind of like, wow, the things I used to write about, and then the life that I didn't know would happen after this age, and then where I am now. It really shows you the journey that you're on. So I wanted to fast forward to 2013. 2013 is when I started my journey of life change. And for those of you who know my story, I share that in the Best of Me journal, which is this journal right here. The Best of Me kind of talks about this journey. This is the journal that I was using at that time. And some people, or some of you guys may feel like, gosh, well, why do you hold on to journals that maybe have hurt you, or, brings back up old memories? And you know what? I don't have those journals. I came to the conclusion when there was time for me to let go of things in my past that I no longer wanted to affect me, that I didn't want those memories to be a part of my future anymore. I had to make a choice to let those journals and those thoughts and anything that tied to the chapters of my life that I didn't want to bring forward into my future, I had to let go. And so when I share my journal collection here today, there are no parts of it that I'm ashamed of. There are no parts of it that take me back to places in my life that I haven't healed from. Everything that I can look back and see through when I look at my journal collection, they empower me. They give me motivation. They remind me of where I was, but they don't dictate where I'm going, because I've healed and I have learned to look forward and build a collection that is empowering. So this journal, it's an inspirational journal, and it was before the years of me even knowing where my journey would lead. So in this journal, I still have pages from a retreat that I went on. And this is why I talk about self-love and self-care a lot in my journaling, because it's the first time I realized the importance of it. So this journal, as I'm looking through it, I stayed at this luxury, high-end hotel in Boston that I'd never ever stayed at or could afford. But I was blessed with a scholarship to go on this retreat. I think I was 3 weeks post-delivery. My daughter, Desiree, the one that I talk about in the Best of Me journal, I had just delivered her 3 weeks prior to telling myself I need my life to change. Because during the pregnancy, I was really discouraged, depressed. I was at the rock bottom of my depression. And I was using this journal at the time. And this is all what's coming to my memory, just holding this journal. I don't even have to read it. I know what's in here. And I remember going on the retreat. It was 3 days. And I remember I was still nursing the baby. She was only 3 weeks old. and my husband was driving in and out of Boston with her so that I could nurse her, feed her, give my husband the milk bottles to take home. And it was a real sacrifice for me to leave my family. But I knew if I didn't do that and make that choice for myself, my life was not going to change for the better. And so when I look at this journal, this is the journal where I learned how to turn my pain into power. And so I love this journal because it marks what seemed like the end of a bad chapter in my life that actually turned into the beginning of the new chapter that I started called The Best of Me. And so this journal, I began by writing pain, right? Writing about the things that I couldn't change, writing about the things that were going on in my life that I couldn't find my way out of, writing through darkness, writing through all these things. And then towards the end of this journal is when I learned how to start writing life. Learning how to embrace forgiveness, learning how to write about the things that I wanted to change, writing about the things that I wanted to do, writing about the ways that I could be better. And I started living and acting out these things that I was writing about in my life. So although this is a journal that, it just has writing in, it's a traditional journal that's meant for just journal writing. It's what you write that makes the difference. So when people come to my tables and they're like, oh, LaTonya, what journal should I use for blah, 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 I start by asking, what is it that you want to achieve? Because it's not the journal that's going to change your life. It's the journey that you take inwardly that's going to change what you write. And so daily journals like this are awesome for you just to begin to pour out and figure out what that is, that question of what it is that you want to achieve, and just spend your time working through the answers. So I have been sharing throughout this month the 30 life questions to awaken your personal growth. And the reason why I have this journaling guide is because it's not the journal that's going to change your life. It's the questions. It's what you put into your writing that's ultimately going to change the decisions you make, the way you feel about yourself, and what you could do to move forward. So I have this download over at letswritelife.com. It's only $7, so you can go purchase it and let it be a guide with whatever journal you're using. All right? And so that's this journal. So that's where my journey, I'm actually going to just plug in my laptop is dying. Hold on. I'm just going to find it. All right. Let's see here. Technology tries to control me. All right. So those two journals right there, daily journals, right? That's how my journey began. So when I decided I wanted to start Let's Write Life and my life change and all of that, which came as a result of the journey that I went on, and those things I talk about in my workshops, and I actually talk a lot about them in the journals too as well. So that kind of leads me to this journal, The Best of Me, which is the journal where I decided that I wanted to be happy. When I realized in order for my life to change, I need to know what happiness means to me. See, this one was about, I was writing about what I wanted, but my approach, I had to learn my approach to that goal. And it was all about this person, that person, this person's doing this and this person's doing that, and I'm going to change them, or I'm going to tell them how. It was all about everything going on around me and trying to change everything around me. This is when the journey started, when I realized in order for my life to change, I had to start with me. Because if nobody else changed, it wasn't going to change my life. So in order for my life to change, I had to realize that change had to start with me. So I'm sharing this particular journal because this is the best of me. And this is the chapter of, I call it my life, my story, everything that brings out the best of me, the empowerment chapter. Because this is when I learned how to use journaling to empower myself and believe in myself, build confidence on my journey. And in here is when I started to define for myself. Thank you for the thumbs and the hearts up, my friends. This is the journey where I began to really hone in on what happiness looked like for me. Not only just in writing, but what did it look like? How did it show up in my life? How could I see it? How could I feel it? At the time, I was really in a financially unstable place. You guys, like, I could barely afford food. I couldn't go to work. Like, it was just a tough time in my life. Just thinking about it, I'm like, wow, how did I survive? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Seriously. But this was when I decided, okay, how do I turn these wants, these desires, this question of happiness into something I could see? And that's what this journey right here, the best of me, allowed me to do. So I started to take on different things in my life, journaling more in positive ways, sharing my life with others, allowing myself to design journals and figure out how I could share my life with the world. And ultimately what happened was the journals that I had been writing for all of these years ultimately empowered me to write this journal. To me, this is like my very first book. Never in my life did I think I was going to write a book or to be designing journals, but ultimately that's what journaling allowed me to do. Journaling really allowed me to look at my past, realize what I learned from it, and sum it up in a guided journal for me to help empower others. So this is why when you're journaling and you're writing, you have to get to a place where you're no longer writing about things that can't change, but you're starting to learn how to use your words to write forward. Because you ultimately could be writing the story of your life. And the way I think about it is, if you want to live a life worth writing for, you might as well be writing about something someone else would want to read. And so that's why I have no shame in sharing my journals and the things that I do in my life, because the things I write in here should be things I want other people to read and be inspired through. The lows, the highs, the ups, the downs, all of it is something other people can learn through. And so this journal is an empowerment journal that I wrote to teach people, share my story, and teach people how to begin the journey of journaling for themselves. And so I love this journal because even though I made it to share with other people, it's the journal that I actually used for myself too. I mean, and it is just full of words. Whew, it's thick. Now, after coming out of that best of me chapter, figuring out what happiness meant to me, I began to really realize my own self-expression or things that made me happy. And the next chapter that I decided I wanted to mark in my life was that choose happiness chapter of my life, which is what this journal is based on, which I'm not even going to get into sharing about too much, but you guys can check all of these journals out at letswritelife.com. All right. The next journal that I wanted to share with you that's part of my journal collection is this one. So before I started Let's Write Life, this is a visual journal. I had already made been using drawing pads to help me brainstorm ideas, to help me overcome moments of confusion or indecision about where I stood in life. So I thought it would be awesome to just kind of share this journal with you, because of just how much visual journals empower me on my journey of life change. So when I began Let's Write Life, I remember sitting here and drawing this out. Now you guys will probably look at this and be like, wow, she can draw. But I really, it didn't start this way. It really didn't. It really didn't. But I share it because sometimes there may be things that you're feeling that you can't put into words. And as I've been on this journey of journaling, I realized that some of the feelings that I was feeling inside, I couldn't express them in words, but I wanted to try to express myself in other ways because of what I've seen on Pinterest or what I saw people doing on YouTube. So I remember sitting down, thanks guys for the thumbs up, the hearts. I remember sitting down and thinking to myself, what if I just tried to express the way I'm feeling visually? And I just wanted some me time, and who cares if I messed up? You know, that's something that sometimes really blocks even me from being able to move forward. This feeling of, what if I mess up? What if? I didn't even try yet. And so I love visual journals because they allow me to overcome negative thoughts that challenge me from trying. I mean, it's just a try, right? Nobody's like holding a gun to my head saying, oh, if you mess up here, no one's judging me by this. But just those inner thoughts will just say, automatically tell you, oh, you're not a writer. Oh, well, you're not an artist, or you can't draw. But what if you can? But the negative thoughts won't even give you a chance sometimes. So where in your life can you feel the freedom to just sit down and try something new without judgment, or just practice overcoming negative thoughts and proving those thoughts wrong? And that's what visual journaling has allowed me to do, because if you learn how to overcome negative thoughts and put yourself out there to try new things in small ways, you'll learn how to apply those same lessons to your life in big ways. And that's what ultimately allows me to do so much in my life that seems impossible. Because journaling has really trained me over the years to say to myself, well, I didn't think I could draw, and I did it. I tried, and it worked out. And so I used to draw, and I would never add color to any of my drawings because I didn't like the way it looked. But you know what? When I started drawing, I didn't know how to draw. And what I realized is once I figured out what I wanted to draw, coloring became a great technique to hide the mistakes and make what seemed like a mess beautiful. So when you look at this, what you see is the beautiful that came out of my try. And I'm going to just take you through this little story that I end up drawing, which I look at and I'm like, wow. So when I started Let's Write Life, when I started this, I had just kind of got through this. I see the hearts and the laughing faces there. You guys are laughing at me. But I see no. I was in the season of the best of me. And so I started the page there, like, the best of me. And what that means to me, because I didn't have it in words, but I wanted to express the feelings. Like, the best of me is like a fresh start. Just me just shining and just being the best of who I am. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to be loved. And I wanted to get to a place where I could show love with the world. And at the time I was listening to music as I was doing this. So I had put music in my heart and soul. And then I captured the words, today I choose happiness. And I reminded myself that even though things weren't completely right in my life at the time, joy comes in the morning. So I did this as a reminder. And then when I choose happiness, what does that look like to me? And this is that beginning stage of my journey where I said, if I can't define anything that anything else that makes me happy. Right now in this moment, I know that my family makes me happy. So my family is what I drew here. And then I had a sign that said, bless this house. And then I really was at a season of my life where capturing memories was important to me. Because a lot of my depression, I felt, stemmed from the fact that I didn't take enough initiative to realize or embrace my own journey. I never took a look back to say, yeah, Latonia, you're not where you want to be, but look at what you did do. You get so caught up in the negative things that you almost blindside yourself to the things that, even the smallest things that you have accomplished. I mean, I had a family. Some people don't have a family, or they lost their family, or they're not in a relationship. And I was taking all of these things for granted because, because the negative things seem to have outweighed the good. And so my visual journaling allowed me to just begin that process of self-realization in a way that I could see, that wasn't just words on a page, but in a way that I could see, and it was pouring out from my soul. And so I put this river for this next stage of like, I'm rooted in grace and truth, and that even though the storms of life get to me, this is not written here, this is just visual. I remember visually saying this as I was writing this. Although the storms of life may come, I will still grow in the rain. And I was going through a lot of, during this season of my life, crying a downpour of tears. You know, that those moments where you just burst out, you can't hold your tears back. And I remember having a lot of moments during that time in my life where I would just pour out in tears. It's just almost every day because of the sadness that I was facing. But at this particular moment in my life, I realized that sadness was me purging out the things that couldn't stay in me anymore. And so I drew these eyes, and I was crying out the sadness. I was crying out the fear. I was crying out depression and the financial bondage. And ultimately, I named this little tub thing right here. It's called the Freedom Wash. And it's like a washing bin with the soap that was just washing my failures, my pain, my unforgiveness, the past, sickness, depression. They're washed away. And as a result of that, my joy, I was in pursuit of peace, freedom, financial wealth, and just this blank slate of new beginnings. I did this over the course of 1, 2, 3 days. Isn't that something? And that's really how my journey with visual journaling began. I mean, that's what happens when you try. And I started to just fill in these pages with thought webs of things I wanted to see happen in my life, because sometimes you may feel overwhelmed with all these ideas and thoughts. So how can you put them on paper in a way that will empower you? And I started doing these thought webs, which I talk about in the Best of Me journal. And I started writing down, affirmations about things I wanted to remind myself. And I have another page here. I'll have to share it in another video at another time, but this is an experience I had that kind of blew my mind around visual journaling. Like I said, I wouldn't say that I'm an artist or that I know what I am doing, but when there's a feeling inside and you try to put it down on paper, this is the type of stuff that comes out. I look at this and I say to myself, wow, I did this, but it's true. I did do this. And the truth is, you can do it too. I'll have to share about this in a totally different video, because this is a whole story within itself. And I look at this and I'm like, I did this, and I may never draw anything like this again, because I haven't. I did this in 2015, and I have yet to have been able to draw something like this. But it's something that happens when you allow your soul to do the writing, and it's not about what's up here, it's about what's right here that comes out. And I would have never been able to do that had I not gotten to a place of freedom to allow myself to do it. And ultimately, my journey with the visual journal inspired me. Oh, look, I don't even have the journal in. Is what inspired me to create the Create Journal, which is this one. I realized the importance of visual journaling, and so every time I would do something visual, I would draw it out, and then I would write about that experience within the lines. And I would have never created a journal like this had I not gone through experiences like this. Because what I started doing on the back of these pages, where I found myself pouring out the ideas, is I started writing on the back. And I was like, you know what, I really need a journal that would allow me to be visual, be expressive with my ideas, and then also just pour out what came out of the experience. And that's ultimately how the Create Journal came to life. And so I have so many journals that I could share with you guys for so much time. I know, awesome, right, Anita? I have so many journals. I have so many stories that I can continue to share with you guys here. But, you know, we only have just a bit of time, but I wanted to at least share with you those pieces. Because ultimately, journaling is more than just a writing experience. It's an experience that is as unique as the author who's writing it. And sometimes words may not express the feelings that you have inside, and sometimes you need space to express yourself beyond the lines. And so I am sharing the variety of journals that I have so that you can realize that there's more to journaling than just a blank slate. There are journals for visual, there are journals for writing, there are journals such as this one that come with themes to help you build your self-esteem and confidence, with prompts on the pages for you to feel empowered on your journey. And then there's the Choose Happiness Journal, you know, with journaling prompts to guide you so that you can hold yourself accountable to where you stand in life. There are so many journals out there, but the best place for you to start, if I could suggest something to you, is a blank slate. A journal that connects and aligns to what your goal through journaling is and what you want it to be. And so I'm going to go back to this 30 life questions to awaken your personal growth, because this will give you a gut check of where you stand in your life. And so over the last 2 broadcasts, I shared I encouraged you guys to take a look at this sheet and answer the first 3 questions after the Do You Know How to Journal broadcast. And then last week, I asked you guys to answer the next 3 questions, 4, 5, and 6. Because those questions, thank you for the thumbs up, because those questions are about what would you like to accomplish now? What needs to happen now for you to feel like you're moving in the right direction? What have you accomplished this year so far that aligns with the life goals that you are on? And so as you're going through these questions this week, I want you to ask yourself, all right, now that you've answered those questions, where are you beginning to let those things take root in your life? What journal are you using to help hold you accountable to this journey? Are you using a daily journal like this one, which is my daily journal that I'm using right now, which I didn't even talk about? which is just blank pages. And actually on my post yesterday, it was raining out here in Massachusetts, so I said I was going to pull out some magazines and start adding some spreads to my journal, which is a project I'm working on. But are you using a daily journal to help you go through journaling prompts? Are you using a visual journal to start, let me see here, mapping out your goals and your next steps and the things you want to see happen in your life? Are you, let me see, are you using a guided journal that is taking you on a journey of life change? I share all of these so that you know there is help out there through journaling to help you get to wherever you want to be in life. You don't have to be using multiple journals all at the same time. What's going to make the difference is what journal is the most effective for you to start to change your life. And so for me, even though I showed a bunch of journals here, the journals that I am currently using day to day is only 2. And that is the Choose Happiness Journal and the Create Visual Journal. These are the 2 journals that right now you'll see me using day to day. All the other journals are just ways for me to empower myself in this season of change and in this season of growth. And so I want to empower you guys to do the same too. Whatever way of journaling that will help you embrace who you are, give yourself a place and a space for you to express your emotions beyond the words of your page. Whatever way that you can visualize the things you want to see and bring to life this year, let that door be open to you. There's no right or wrong way to journal, but there are strategies to help you achieve life change. Okay, guys? So that was the quick version of my journal collection. I hope that what I shared today kind of gives you a glimpse of where I stand with journaling and how the journals that I've been using over the last few years have helped me on my journey of life change, have helped inspire the things that I do with Let's Write Life. You guys know if you have any questions, leave comments. I'll have links with this video for you to check out the journals over at Let's Write Life, and also grab the download for 30 life questions to awaken your personal growth. I hope that I will see some of you who are in the area at the vision board party that is coming up, where we'll be able to visualize all of these things that we write about. But thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you, Anita and Jackie and Katrina, all of you guys for joining me, and Herkins. I love seeing you guys here on the broadcast. So I'm going to let you guys go and have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you right here, same place at the same time next week for Tips Tuesday, where we'll be talking about coping with depression through journaling. Okay, guys, have a great afternoon. Bye.